Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to finally be bringing you my last game, the 11th game of Season 3 of the Pokemon Premier League. Yes indeed. Now, today, as you may know, we will be facing off against Necrostevo, and when I say today, I mean like a couple of weeks ago, because as you also probably know, I've been massively behind and massively busy. When it comes to trying to do these videos, I just haven't found the time to do so. So you know, we're way sort of after the fact right about now. We are on Showdown. It was just easiest for both of us. You know, at the time I think I was still going through a few internet issues. You know, things were still a little bit sort of unstable. And of course Necro, he's a very busy man himself. He doesn't have a lot of time to get mons together for Wi-Fi, especially given the fact that he breeds all of his mons. So, you know, we decided, let's just go Showdown, let's just make it happen and get it done. So, if you want a full and in-depth analysis of the team I decided to bring, head down to the description. There you will find a link to my team building analysis video, you know, to get sort of my mindset going into this game, what I thought Necro would bring, all the mons I brought, their movesets, their spreads, everything you need to know will be in that video. But to briefly go over it, I have got an Adamant Blaziken, a modest Mesprit, both very offensive or full attacking. We've got Agility Pass, Mega-Scizor, physically defensive Weezing with a tiny bit of speed, bulky Sylveon with 3 attacks and Wish, and a specially defensive Knocked-Out with Toxic. Now, my opponent, incidentally of course, his links will be down in the description below as well. Make sure you check out Necro's links. He's got some fantastic videos on his channel, all his PPL content, his various other league content. He's in several other leagues at this point. He's I think he's actually just reached the playoffs in one of them, so good luck to him in the rest of that league as well as that goes on. And you'll of course get to hear his glorious voice. Speaking of voices, mine's going a little bit. I'll probably be clearing my throat quite a lot during this. I do have a very bad cough right now. But Necro's team, as you'll see from left to right, he has got Caracosta, Rotomosh, Pangoro, Slowking, Chandelure, and the Scizor. A lot of what I expected him to bring. No Clefable, which was interesting. I was expecting to see Clefable. I wasn't entirely expecting to see Caracosta, but you may remember in my team building analysis video I did say that the two biggest threats on his side for me were going to be Chandelure and the Caracosta, and that whilst I wasn't necessarily expecting him to bring it, it is a potential massive threat to my team. And now it's there. So he's bought all 3 of his water types, which is interesting. You know, I haven't bought my Electabuzz, which, now that I look at it, could have been really useful in this game. But I didn't bring Electabuzz. So, yeah, that's pretty much me going over the teams. So without further ado, let's get right into the battle and just see exactly how things played out. Right, Necro's going to be leading with his Scizor. I'm going to lead with my Weezing. This is a great lead matchup for me. I fear nothing from this guy. He is just going to U-turn on out of there, and he's going to reveal that he is Life Orb Scizor, which is interesting. But what this very early on allows me to do, knowing I didn't fear him, I can first turn get up my first layer of Toxic Spikes. This is going to be really useful. He has 2 immunities, but everything else is going to be affected. Now, I don't want to stay in on Chandelure, not now, not ever. I'm going to go into my one thing that can possibly take a hit. That's going to be my Knockdown. Now, Necro's going to go for Fire Blast. Unfortunately, he is going to miss, which is, you know, it's unfortunate. He misses big damage on me, and I don't get to see any kind of item. I can't gauge his set. He's going to go into the Rotom, which I knew was going to be his switch, and this is why I packed Toxic. He's not affected by T-Spikes, but I do get a Toxic on the Rotom, and now he's going to be worn down quite badly. Now here, I actually do expect him to go for the Volt Switch. He ends up going for the Will-O-Wisp for residual damage on my Noctowl. I just went for the Roost here, just to scout out exactly what this Rotom was going to do. Now here, he shows Leftovers, so I'm basically thinking he's probably physically defensive to try and deal with my Blaziken. Now here, he does go for the Volt Switch, a turn after I thought he would. So, he's going to Volt Switch for the Rotom. He can go into something to threaten my Sophos, and that is going to be his Slowking for him. He gets poisoned. I am, as I say, just going to go for the Roost here. I see no real reason not to. So, Noctowl is back at a really nice range of health. And now we have this matchup of Slowking versus Noctowl. We're going to see exactly what he's going to do. He is, in fact, going to pull the switch, trying to double around and get himself some initiative, going into his Scizor. I'm not playing Ball, however. I'm just going to go for the Shadow Ball. And, you know, get some nice chip damage on the Scizor here. I was trying to gauge exactly what kind of Slowking I was working against. But he's got a Scizor in here. I don't want to stay in. I need Noctowl to do some work later on. So I'm going to go into Weezing. I have no reason not to do this. It is my best play. He is going to go for the knockoff right about now. Get rid of my Black Sludge, so no more passive recovery for my Weezing. But he's wearing himself down with Life Orb. So he's not going to go for the U-turn. He's just going to double straight out into his Slowking, as I'm going to go for my second layer of Toxic Spikes, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have done. I should have gone for damage and I would have got a little bit more into the Slowking, but you do what you can at the time. Now I don't want to stay on a Slowking with my Weezing. Predicting the Psychic type move, I'm going to go into Noctowl. He's going to go for Psychic and do pitiful damage. That did just absolutely nothing. Noctowl absolutely chewing the hit from this Slowking, which was great to see. Really happy with that. What Noctowl's done so far this game. So Necro's going to go into his Rotom. I'm just going to go for the Roost here. Again, no reason not to. Noctowl, once again, right back up to full health. And Noctowl finally doing some work. It's not getting KOs, but it's doing really well, just kind of scouting things out and allowing passive residual damage to happen. Now, that Volt Switch you'll notice got a crit, which is unfortunate because once again I just went for Roost here. Knowing the Volt Switch was incoming, it means that Necro can go into his Scizor as I go for the Roost. And once this has happened, as you can see, I get a little bit of leftovers back, and I'm at 65%, which is not an area that I'm comfortable with taking on the Scizor. Even though I do pack Heat Wave, I'm going to switch out. And I go into my Weezing once again. It is my safe switch, it is my designated counter. But Necro, he makes the good play. He is going to go for the U-turn straight away. Knowing that I was going to switch out, knowing I wouldn't want to stay in. He's going to go into his Chandelure, and now with Noctowl at a low range of health, I'm not comfortable taking hits from this Chandelure, which is pretty bad. Obviously Weezing can't take one, and I still kind of need it. So, what I'm going to do is go into my Noctowl, kind of accepting it might have to go down here. He goes for the Flamethrower, and that is Specs as hell. I'm pretty certain that was Timid Specs. So yeah, not a lot I had to take a hit from that. And at this point I am going to have to let Soft Force go down, but Noctowl has put in a big shift this game and has actually done really well for me, and I'm happy with how it performed. Now, knowing that Chandelure is choiced, I'm going to be able to make a very offensive switch here and go into my Blaziken. And Necro really does not have too much to want to switch in. Now, he is going to go into his Slowking, I guess predicting Earthquake or Stone Age, but I'm just going to go for the knockoff, and I am going to score a big old crit on the Slowking, knock off the Rocky Helmet. This is huge. You know, if I hadn't got that crit, I wouldn't have been able to stay in here. As it is, I can stay in, I can go for the knockoff once again, take out the Slowking and try and bluff a Scarf set maybe. So in comes the Rotom Wash, and I do not want to stay in here. I'm going to switch on out, and I'm going to go into the best thing to take a hit now is Sylveon. As Necro, he's going to go for the Protect, you know, so he scouts as to whether I'm choiced or as to whether I want to go for High Jump Kick. Now I know he has it, pretty certain he's going to be that physically defensive set. So, I fear nothing from this guy. He goes for a Volt Switch, it does very little damage to Sylveon. I really don't fear the Rotom at all when I have Sylveon in. In comes the Caracosta. I'm going to go for the Hyper Voice, and even though I'm not invested, this is going to do huge damage to Caracosta. A very easy 2-hit KO from that range. So, he is going to outspeed me, he's going to go for Stone Edge, and desperately, unfortunately, he is going to miss. Now, I think I might have lived that hit, and I go for Hyper Voice, and just to rub salt in the wound, I get a crit there that doesn't matter. So, getting a bit lucky in this game, it has to be said, and we are 5-4 up. Now, in comes the Chandelure. I know I can take this hit, because I'm a Sylveon, and I do, but I go for Shadow Ball, and it is not quite going to take out the Chandelure because, I say, I'm not invested. But it does mean that he's at range where a Toxic iteration is going to take out the Chandelure. Big throw out the way, KO for Weezing due to the Toxic Spikes. So now in comes the Rotom Wash once again. I have nothing that wants to take a hit from this particularly, and I don't want to give Necro initiative, so I am just going to let Sinatra the Sylveon go down here. But it's done a very nice amount of work getting big chip damage on a lot of things. Mainly that Chandelure and, you know, allowing that to go down. So in comes the Scizor. I'm just going to go into my Blaziken here. And this is the point where Necro really has nothing to take a hit. I'm going to go for the Flare Blitz. That is going to take out the Scizor from that range, of course. It would have taken it out from full. And that's the second kill for Blaziken. And now it's 2-on-4. We're looking good. In comes the Rotom. I don't want to stay in here. I'm going to go into my Weezing to sack it off. It's not doing any work at this point. The Pangoro will take it out from the range of health it's at. So in comes the Hydro from the Rotom that is going to take out my Weezing, but now it's time for the end game, and it's time to put a plan into action. With Rotom taking a bit of toxic damage, I am here going to go into my Scizor. Why? Because when I Mega up finally, I know I can take a Hydro Pump from a defensive Rotom. So he's going to do that, he's going to go for Hydro, it does 60%, I take it, and I am going to go for Agility. Now, I also know that from a defensive Rotom, Mesprit can also take a hit. So now is the time where I'm going to be able to baton pass that +2 speed for the endgame directly into Mesprit. Necro does go for the Hydro, and as you can see, he does miss. Now that does not matter. The miss would not come into account. He doesn't take me out from that range with a Hydro. And, you know, I am modest, Life Orb, fully invested. This Energy Ball is going to take out the Rotom from that range of health. Down it goes, and now all Necro has left is this Pangoro, which could be a problem, but for the fact I have +2 speed. So even if he's Scarfed without speed, Dazzling Gleam will absolutely one-shot Pangoro from that range. Down goes that big scary panda, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the game. So, great game, Necro. A really nice one to end off the season with. We end up with a 3-0 victory there. Big offensive work being put in by Mesprit and Blaziken, with some nice walling going on from my core of Weezing, Sylveon, and knocked out as well. Pretty happy with how that one went. It was... What I'm not happy with is the amount of hacks that happened. You know, Necro pretty much got hacks to hell and back. A lot of my bad luck from the season sort of coming together and getting all my sort of good luck to balance it out right at the end of the season. I think he missed 2 Hydros, a Stone Edge. I got a crit knockoff. Nothing really went Necro's way that game, it has to be said. He missed a Fire Blast, I don't know if I mentioned that. There was a lot of stuff that went wrong for him there. He got very badly hacked out. But yeah, we'll take the wins however we can. And what that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that the end of the season has come, and Parasect Germain sitting at 5 and 6. Now, I'm going to be going over sort of table position, Golden Pokeball Award, which is what we're calling our MVP award this season. I'm going to be going over that in a separate video when I sort of sum up the season, as it were. But yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap things up from this one. So thank you all very much for watching. I do hope that you've enjoyed. Make sure to check out Necrostevo's channel. You will absolutely not regret it. It will be down there in the description below. As I said at the beginning of the video, you'll be able to check out all his fantastic content, all the rest of his battles across various leagues. He puts in a lot of work when it comes to league play. So yeah, make sure you do that and check out his channel. Links, of course, will be there for the... try that one again. Links, of course, will also be there for the PPL Twitter and YouTube. All things PPL to keep up to date with all the news that you're going to need at the end of the season and towards the beginning of a presumable 4th season. You know, check out those links. You'll find everything you need there. Finally, of course, links will be there to Titos, who, of course, was in Season 1 of the PPL. He's not taking part anymore, but he did very kindly provide us with the templates for our thumbnails that we're all using this season. So thank you very much, Titos, for that. Check out his links. They'll be down there too. He's very talented. Do it. But as I say, I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on far too long. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.